This character single-handedly traumatized the Reverse1999 community with an orange. No, I'm not kidding. Today I'm gonna tell you Schneider's tragic story and how she became a symbol of the stories Reverse1999 is willing to tell. Spoilers for chapter 1, 2 and 3. Schneider is introduced as a very charismatic, quite flirty, but morally grey character, grabbing the players' attention instantly. The game lets you think early on that she's an important character who's gonna be playable later on, with an eye-catching and creative design to match. Her confident but deflective behavior makes her mysterious, making the audience curious, hooked, wanting to know more. It seemed like she had it all: brilliant voice acting with Italian,
What the hell did they force you to eat? Vaffanculo.
complex motivations, an inner conflict, tons of screen time, and impeccable chemistry with the main character Vertin. She felt like she was the actual main character, to be honest. So when the ending of chapter 2 revealed her inevitable death, the community wasn't only left in shock, but it would also set the tone for the coming chapters. Her death, however, wasn't just a shock factor. It contained a meaning, a message. It showed us that Reverse1999's priority would be meaningfulness over comfort. Her story is played in 1929 Chicago, where crime was an everyday occurrence. Bootlegging of alcohol, drugs, and other illegal items, speakeasies, and an abundance of gangsters, to name a few. Schneider grew up in a dangerous environment, where she had to quickly grow up and adapt. Deception was the norm, and killing was a requirement to survive. When we meet her, she acts like she's in control, but in reality, she's fighting desperately against her fate and circumstances. Schneider represents a pragmatic way of life. She knows the world is corrupt and broken. She knows of the power structures, thus trying her best at managing her position. We see that when we see her think critically, making the call to switch sides from Manus Vindictae to us. At least, that's what I thought at first, but then I had a thought. Logically speaking, she could have survived if she went with the Menace, right? So then, why? The conclusion I arrived at is simple. Reverse1999 often displays a logic versus emotion narrative, more often displaying humans as logical, reasonable, and arcanists as emotional and impulsive. The reason why that is important and why Schneider chose our side in the end is because if she had joined the Menace, she would have become like the people who forced those circumstances on her and her family. She would have sank lower, to a point that she wouldn't have been able to come back from, when deep down she just wanted to have a normal and happy life. This is portrayed with her flashback scene in the peaceful orange orchard. The real reason she dies is also revealed at only the end. I mean, up until her death, we, the players, think that she will survive, because Vertin's suitcase protects Arcanists from being reversed by the storm. But that is the problem. Only Arcanists. Schneider was human. The reason why this was a surprise was because she has been using arcane skills the whole time. But how, you may ask? The most likely answer would be that she was using arcane-powered weapons, but there's also a theory that she got a heart transplant from an Arcanist. Whatever the case, she ended up being reversed by the storm, causing her existence to be displaced.
Don't forget me. Don't forget my heartbeat. On the right.
Her death mirrors the way Reverse1999 treats and conveys time. Her death isn't a grand heroic one, nor is it a consequence of a mistake or the doing of an evil individual. It's the indifference of time, as it cruelly and painfully moves without a pause, that causes the inevitable end, and makes everyone aware of the harsh truth. Anyone could be next. Needless to say, Schneider had a huge impact not just on us, but also on Vertin and the Reverse1999 story as a whole. Vertin became fleshed out after her death. She became her own character, rather than just a typical self-insert. Something inside of her changed fundamentally, shaping her actions moving forward. We also learned more about her past in the meantime, which intensified the impact and meaning of her experiences with Schneider. Vertin's loss of Schneider closely relates to her loss of her childhood friends. not only invoking her trauma, but also bringing forth a new form of intense pain due to her relationship with Schneider. One of the flaws of many gacha games' way of storytelling is actually one of Reverse 1999's strength, in my opinion. The unfinished, subtle, and ambiguous relationships of some pairings. Vertin and Schneider's bond is built on silent understanding. Schneider's fondness shows up as dry humor aimed only at Vertin, with small protective gestures, while Vertin responds not with words, but with allowance. She lets Schneider close in a way she doesn't allow others. It's quiet affection, but mutual. They never define the relationship though, they never give it a label, and that ambiguity allows the relationship to function as either romantic, platonic but intimate, or something in between, depending on how you view it. And because Schneider dies, it can never be clarified. The ambiguity becomes permanent. Reverse 1999 turns that flaw that many gacha games have, and turns it into a powerful tool. The cruel part is, Schneider knows she may not survive, making it so that she is more ready for the unavoidable farewell. Yet Vertin hasn't made her peace. She hasn't come to terms with it yet. Heck, she didn't even know in the first place. That imbalance defines Vertin's grief. She doesn't just mourn Schneider, she mourns a future she could have had together with her. Their tragedy is not that Schneider and Vertin fail to be together, it's that they succeed in creating an honest, real connection, but it can only last briefly, as their time simply runs out. That's why their relationship haunts people, not because it didn't happen, but because it happened only for a sweet moment. Thank you so much for watching. If you've enjoyed, I would really appreciate a sub as it helps me making more content like this. And let me know what you thought down in the comments. Man, it's been a while since I last experienced the first chapters, more than almost 2.5 years ago actually, so I was feeling really nostalgic when making this, but yeah, that's why anytime we see an orange, we think back to that one flashback scene with Schneider, where she is giving us an orange in her hand. Schneider, best go. See you later, and ciao.